Hello there, this is Cookies, and I have turn 37 of LA Erytheia, and I believe this is the first turn Arco gets to attack, so let's go ahead and dive into it. We got our Chainmail Hauberk from Satis, and we also got our 10 Nature Gems from Satis. I believe I owe him 10 Earth Gems. Additionally, we got a Hesperide, a Troll King's Court, and a Naiad, so improving our magic diversity a little bit. Although we probably... I don't know if we needed the Naiad, but it is something we got. Alright. And let's go ahead and cover our fights with Arco. I guess we got a Living Sediment, which I think is 1 Earth or 1 Nature. And first up, we have Arco's God. Air 2, Death 5, Nature 5, Blood 3. Can do all the, Wailing Winds, Winds of Death, Rigor Mortis, all the big buffs for Nature. It can do the Adept Crossbreeding with the Nature Blood, and has enough blood to do the intro boosters. Anyways, it's coming underwater. It has 20 MR, 25 protection, pretty good stats, and a 24 damage Frostbrand. Unfortunately, it is combat speed 2, which means theoretically all of my troops get to hit first. It's also twice spawned, so even if we kill it, it'll come back as a big Tartarian, which may not be something that Arco is opposed to. Although given the kit, it seems like you would prefer it to live. So we have some... Okay, so we have a Swarm cast. And Mermen aren't particularly great, but they do have this Coral Spear with a weak poison. She does have a lot of poison resist, though. 99 HP. But in come the Water Elementals. Now, I had Water Elemental casters here. I was patrolling for Arco, but I wasn't necessarily expecting to catch anything in this particular province because it wasn't right up against the front line. But here we go. We go ahead and catch that in the magic phase. And we get a couple of items from it. Ring of Water Breathing and a Scutata Volturnus. Alright, and that's about the high point for this turn. Next up we have an Elephant Raid, which is a pretty cool thing Arco can do. They do have vulnerable MR, but what's nice about this raid is it can kill most forms of PD without... And, well, I guess, and your opponent will have a hard time stopping it without committing mages. So you're taking a small group of troops and forcing a mage commitment to stop it, which is what I like. And it'll typically just trample over most, like, reasonable PD amounts. And then I was never expecting this many Heart Companions, but here we go, we get a bunch of them. And I had a little bit of a PD dump, but nothing prepared for this. I also had 1 Fire Elemental caster. He's going to throw out 2. He's going to pass out and never wake up again. There is a little bit of a replay bug, I think. But we'll see what it looks like. You can see he dies to crossbows. Let's see. In reality, he did die, but only 4 Heart Companions were killed. And then a few crossbowmen and archers. Next up is the Green Sea. A wave of Living Waters casters, which is pretty cool. And this was something that I had kind of seen earlier when I scryed on that throne. I saw these mages, and I should have put 2 and 2 together that they would be getting recruited for me. But I didn't, and then this kind of caught me off guard. Just the volume of it. I wasn't quite prepared. Got a couple of these guys here. So I'm going to lose a couple of slow to recruit mages, a Pearl Mage, a Deduco, so this one was pretty bad. Should have expected more, I guess, rather than just putting up some small token resistance. Anyways, I lose 4 mages, but he does spend a lot of water gems, but I don't think most nations care that much about spending water gems. Unlike Erytheia, which loves its water gems and turning them into pearls. Next up, we'll go ahead and do the last Arco Erytheia battle. So we've got another troop of hoplites and harp companions, a bunch of slingers and crossbows, and a little bit of point buffing on some cavalry against just PD. And then, oh, this one's kind of fun. So Satis has these mercs, and they're pretty cool. They've got built-in flambeaus, but they're just going to run into a big old PD dump from boogers. And they do have kind of low protection, and it looks like Satis didn't bless them, which that would have been a surefire way to score some additional kills. Could have done maybe a blessing and retreat, but chose not to. And then man over here, going in with the feeble-minded guy and just killing him off on some PD. Maybe. Do you guys plan on like walking forward? Weird. Okay. And so we had a couple of events. All right. So we get this demon attack. Unfortunately for the Serpent Fiend, it's underwater. So it's kind of got malicious stats with, in terms of combat power, with just 22 HP. And this guy's got pretty good stats with that Scutata Volturnus. Alright. So he yoinks that. Let's see, we get some sharks. So this event chain that I followed did indeed trigger an indie attack. And it just happened to happen the turn that Arco attacked. So could not have had better timing. So I believe this should be enough to gem bait if they had gems to bait, but they don't. This guy's pretty cool. Whole bunch of life drains and sacred. This guy's also pretty cool. Alright. And then one of my scouts gets patrolled out. And we have some stuff put under siege. Alright, so I think that's everything. So we can go ahead and take a look. So this is where Arco's god jumped in and was killed. Additionally, we have the push towards the capital with the Heart Companions. Seized the Forgotten Crypt with the War Elephants. And put this fort under siege with 180 units. And he's got his Azure Mages here. So I'm in a pretty rough spot. Flagra did not attack me this turn just yet. So we'll have to see next turn what he ends up planning on doing. And I guess, so we've got this kind of unprotected belly towards Arco that Arco's taking advantage of. But I think we're holding okay against Flagra. And we still have a lot of stuff here to potentially fight this big Olm stack with, including our Earthquake Trap. So we could probably catch a lot of stuff in here. I have a feeling these guys would be moving in there. So yeah, I think that's most of it. We're gonna go ahead and break siege and do our Foul Vapors play. So this is what we've got. We've got this caster. So we've got a bunch of magic duels in retreat. This is to kill the 2 Archons that buff his archers. And then this one's going to do poison resistance, foul vapor, swarm, 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 retreat, just to provide some additional chaff. And oh, and this is where we make the mistake of teleporting into the Lagoon of Fortune without water breathing gear, which is unfortunate. All right. So in terms of diplomacy, because there was a lot of diplo that happened this turn, let's see, I had invited Calum to Vulture, but with the intent that he would fight with Ulm over it, and I didn't properly communicate that, and Ulm got upset, I think somewhat rightfully so, although it is my territory, I'll do what I want with it. But he did get upset, but what Calum ended up doing was he ended up talking to Ulm, and they ended up signing a nap and kind of like splitting out the land, which was not my intention. So I told Calum that if he wants to 4v1, we can 4v1, but I'm not just giving up land for free where he doesn't do anything. And so he said he would back off, and Ulm would get to, and then Ulm and I ended up signing a deal where I believe Ulm gets these 6, and maybe this one, maybe 7. Yeah, I think this one too. So he gets these 7. I keep my lakes. Additionally, after I signed the deal with Ulm, Arco offered terms. Oh, and one more piece. I got terms from Ulm that I would get 1 additional turn to move my stuff out of this fort. So I think that lets all of this stuff in, and then it can move out. And then everything here should be home free, but the stuff here is going to get kind of trapped. And then I signed terms with Arco, and Arco's going to get this fort, and he's going to let this army out. And then he's also going to get these 2, and this one. So that's what we ended up negotiating. So again, I get to keep my lakes, and I get to even keep a route out of my lake, which was nice. And then I talked to Flagra, who's very nice, but I was unwilling to give up the Throne of Death for a nap 3. At this point, I have a lot of stuff, and not nearly as many provinces as I used to, so I need to grow to offset all the stuff I'm about to lose. So, no deal with Flagra. My intent is Flagra kills my stuff, or I kill Flagra. So we're about to go on the offensive against Flagra. As part of that, we've got this crew here, where we've fixed our script for Frozen Heart. We've got this crew here, which is our Encalados trap, again with Petrify, Soul Slave, Frozen Heart. And we're doing our Foul Vapors trap here. And then we've got a whole bunch of stuff on the way over. So that's all of that Diplo. And let's see. Yeah, I think that's most of it. I still kept trying to find allies against this coalition. And it wasn't working out. Satis was busy with Bagarus. Utgard and Man were still busy. Raga and Pan were still busy. And Calum was more a threat than a potential help. And I don't think Patala was interested, although I might not have asked Patala, but I'm not sure what Patala could have done because I wasn't fighting Calum. So unfortunate. Getting carved up doesn't feel good, but we're gonna try and make the best of it and see what we can do to Flagra. And I'll see you in turn 38. Have a good one.